Well, we're going to go from the glory of Sean's musical art to another panel. How's everybody feeling? Panel, why don't you come on out? Come on out, take a seat, and we'll get you a microphone. All right, everybody give the panel a hand. They're going to be talking about the rise of NFT utility and building digital communities. Thank you all for being here. We're looking forward to hearing what you have to share with us.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, here we are. Thank you guys for coming today. And I'm Victoria, representing BIMAR, and I have the honor to be the host today somehow. And I have three awesome people here, have their great project, and I guess we can just start one by one to have a short introduction. Yeah.
Hi folks, my name is Brent Bushnell. I run a high-tech circus called 2-Bit Circus out of downtown Los Angeles. We've got about half a city block of interactive entertainment, virtual reality arena, a whole interactive game show theater hosted by my mutant, and we've been expanding it into the metaverse with a digital double.
Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Charpentier. I'm the founder and one of our game developers for an NFT collection named Creatures, and the game is named the same, Creatures. Thanks.
Hey, thank you for coming. I'm Alex from Rarible. Probably most of you know the word Rarible, but not like we actually redefine it from time to time, what that actually means. It started to be a minting platform where you can create NFTs. Then it became a multi-chain NFT marketplace. And now it's finally the API-first product for other people to build marketplaces. We launched 6 marketplaces on top of our API. If anyone needs a marketplace, hit me up after.
Lovely. And we don't have Isabel to joining us today, but I think we have enough people just cover everything we want to talk about. Let's start. So I think we have been in NFT marketplace. I heard this is the 3rd year or 4th year of the NFT.NYC. So this is the first time you guys, this is not your first time, I know. What about you folks? Is how many times you had?
Yeah, it's my first time here.
Okay.
Yeah, my first time as well.
Okay,
Cool.
welcome to New York.
It's my first time as well, yeah.
But last year, you guys did a lot of cool stuff, I remember.
Yeah, the rest of the team was there.
Okay, and I think still, regardless, I think we're still at the NFT 1.0 stage. So we still have a lot of new things, and we have been through all kind of NFT marketplace, all kind of collectibles. So what you guys feels like right now we're in, I would say, quieter market in general? But I do see a lot of people coming to New York City this time, just want to be part of the families. And I can see people still really passionate about the collections, how the future of the NFTs. So I do see just from the exchange perspectives, we see all different angles, how people trying to build on top of NFTs, no longer just the collections. Like selling NFT on the marketplace is simple, that's number one. But what's the next really big moves? We have music, we have gamings, we have like all kind of a play to earn, work to earn kind of business models. And now we also have like finance, DeFi get attached with NFTs. What's you guys thought on this?
Man, so I think right now we're in that 1.0 phase, just like with the internet, 20, 25 years ago, where we're like replicating things that exist today. Back in the beginning of the internet, it was like, oh, I can put my recipes on the internet, right? I can listen to music on the internet. And it's like, oh, well, you're replicating like radio and books and whatnot. So I think we're in that phase. We're making, games and DeFi and music and whatnot. And I think most of us are probably still figuring out like what is the next thing that's only possible with Web3 that really takes us to 2.0. Instead of just replicating things that are in the real world.
Well, but hey, even if we're replicating things that already exist, zoom out, Soho House is vulnerable to the competitor that allows you to own your membership, right? Like equivalently, if I move out of a town that has a Soho House, I don't get any value for the fact that I have been a member for ages, right? So the next one is going to will recreate the great thing that Soho House has done, but then I have now an asset I own, and that will be a competitive advantage.
Yeah, and there is a saying, the history does not repeat itself, but it rhymes. I think we experienced the 2017 bubble moment for NFTs. And in 2017, everyone was trying to create X on blockchain, and then 90% of these projects died, but 10% gave birth to the DeFi summer. And just a lot of projects that collected money, they hired people, they teach them how to do blockchain. We've hired several guys in our team that were just like got their first experience working for these companies. So we've got the same moment right now for NFTs. And there was like X on NFT, let's do everything on NFTs. Now we will see this great noise from the like fundamental separation, and I'm really, really curious what would be the fundamental use cases. Maybe we can spend some time talking about that. What do you think, guys? What's fundamental?
I mean, I think everybody got a taste of what ownership feels like. You know, if you didn't own your house or you didn't own, you know, you didn't have a lot of things that you owned, but all of a sudden you were owning these assets, you know, that's really powerful. And you know, particularly in the gaming world, you know, right now we've got this hurdle where you might have to jump to buy a $50 game and you might not even like the game. You know, if you were buying an asset, you know, backed by an NFT that would give you some value, we're sort of back to gaming cartridges again, where I could have some resale to this. This is an asset. And once we hit Web 2 and it was all subscriptions, the users sort of got disenfranchised from that ownership again. So I think we're sort of, again, it rhymes with 1.0, but we're back to being able to own an asset.
Yeah, you're right. So that's I mean, that's a great point, that even with replicating, you know, what's out there today, that ownership and that empowerment, that is something that doesn't exist, you know, outside of Web3 typically, and that's a very powerful thing when you're talking about creating communities, you know, our topic for today, because there's tons of stuff out there, cool software, cool games that has, you know, utility, it's providing value, it's reducing like pain points, but like no one is jumping on Discord, you know, dropping dank memes over like the latest tax software, right? Like you need it, it's useful to you, it solves a pain point, but you don't have any say in its future and whatnot. And that ownership and empowerment that the NFTs are giving to your community, what does the path forward look like, whether it's a game or a marketplace or whatnot, that is what everyone is rallying behind, because they're a part of that thing and what it becomes, and that's why we're all hanging out together.
What do you guys think about the market in general at this point?
It's terrible.
Doesn't bother me at all. If you're building, you believe in the long term, right? It's the mental models that we're all excited about. So much of this stuff is still in flux, and all of the up and down, it's just going to be noise until we're really, you know, you mentioned it, you know, feels like the late 90s, before we had Netflix streaming, Uber, Airbnb, all these things you use every single day. And we're at that point. And so all that stuff is, you know, that we're going to use every single day and not even use the word NFT. That's a decade from now. You know?
But also, I think at this point, we were seeing a lot of like good projects. They were just naturally out of the market, which is good. We have seen too many and too much project last year, right? It was just all over the place, and everybody's trying to have like a big creative, but not really. And they have the games not really. I mean, we're in the gaming industry for how long? Like 20 years. We play video games since we're young. And they just come out randomly, and we have tokenized it, and this is the future. But not really. It's just the quality wasn't there. But now, just like it's a perfect time, I think, for all the developers. If we have any developers here, it's great. It's a great time. We can actually just focus on what we're trying to build and just drive into what you're thinking is actually valuable in the futures. Focus on the contents. Focus on the games, the stories itself. And just when you have the really good, just the storylines, you will be fine. And then we can go to the marketplace to launch whatever you think is valuable. You can work in with the other game studios and to have more make it more variables or make it more multi-universe of fancy concept part of it. That's what we should see in the gaming industry, how we can towards into the Web3 from the Web 2, make actual change, not just like, let's just tokenize everything, right?
Yeah. I read an article yesterday. It sparked a really good thought in my mind that crypto markets, as we see today, like, okay, they go up and down, but they oscillate around the fundamental value creation that's going on for these 10 years. And crypto markets today are very, very much self-referential. So DeFi, like exchanges, trade tokens. When the crypto prices go down, exchange profit go down, the exchange token go down. So it's very much pro-cyclical until we connect it to the real world. Because otherwise, we're just like self-referential. When everything goes up, we get reinforced this up. When everything goes down, we reinforce this down. And connecting that to the real world, I guess we saw the crypto art use case. Okay, it's fundamental. It will be there. Digital creators did not have like ability to monetize. It's not big. It was 1% after the PFP trend. PFP is real world. Like you put it on Twitter, right? I'm not selling my doodle. It's still there. It sort of reminds me. Like the luxury goods type of brands. Oh, I own Balenciaga, right? The Kicks and other guys that own them, like we can recognize each other. So that's the second fundamental use case that I see. Like I know you mentioned you have interest in music NFTs. Maybe that's one more. Games. What else are there, guys? What do you think?
I love that you said connecting back out to the outside world, you know, because outside of Web3, there is a vacuum of community, right? The data is not good, right? Church attendance down, union attendance down, Elks clubs, all that stuff your grandfather did, all down. And on average, humans are home, alone, depressed, right? Depression data through the roof, all that stuff. And so it's kind of not shocking that the NFT community side has sort of emerged to sort of bring people together, you know, across like-mindedness, you know, different industries, different collections, as a way to kind of fill that void, right? That lack of community that has happened basically everywhere else.
Exactly. I mean, that's where we're missing at this point. Web 2 and Web 3, what's in the middle is the fundamentals of the entire thing we're trying to build. Otherwise, we're still living in the fantasies, to be honest. So now I think it's just perfect timings. As you mentioned, I think music is a really good start. People starting to attach the loyalties, attach the music NFTs. Like there's so many really good projects out there, like Oculus, like Audius. They are the, I would say, the empires of this world. They're trying to see how exactly they can connecting with the fine clubs and the musics. But after 2 years, there's still, I would say, it wasn't as smooth as they was trying to conquer, because we right now have the copyrights, we have the IPs, we have the regulations attached to it. If we're selling the music NFTs, we technically, it's a security, it's not really a utility attached to tokens. So what's next? Are we starting to spin off the tokens and the actual project, or we need to find another way to working this all together? We still regulate it, but at the same time, we actually build something on-chain, but it also makes sense. Not everything has to be on blockchain, to be honest. Something, if we works with the central database, just go for it. And then this is pretty much the questions every project that come to us, and we will start to think about, is this actually a blockchain project? Is the blockchain actually is a fundamental we're trying to build? Or you can just use the central data servers, that's it. So let's talk about the utilities. I think that's what will be the next layer. Very, very important for all kind of NFTs. What we're trying to build, or what is actually use case for all of these NFTs besides it just collectibles. There's so many cool stuff is right out there. We can like, you know, there are also like different business models, like play to earn, everybody familiar about it, and like walk to earn, all kind of XYZ to earn. That is the, I would say, still the first layer of we're trying to adding more utility for the NFT we're trying to use. But what you guys thoughts on this? Like what we should do to adding more utilities?
Well, you know, I mean, there's utility to the consumer, and there's utility to the creator, right? Like, if it was 10 years ago or 15, we might be talking about doing a Kickstarter in order to like get our project off the ground, and you would be doing that through pre-sales to the people that are your most fervent backers, but they're still only your customer. They're getting a little bit of ability to kind of influence the project as you build. But I think now with you know NFTs and DeFi, they can be that much more engaged in your long-term you know the long-term of your project, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, and I don't think the aspect of owning a piece of whatever it is, and I don't mean like owning like a stock. Like, you know, we're talking about music, like it. Until relatively recently, Like, we don't own things anymore, right? Like, you license or rent music. If you're traveling, you go to the wrong country, you can't watch your Netflix anymore or whatnot because your favorite movie's not licensed in that region. So with whatever it is, music, gaming assets, you spend 200 hours in Skyrim, and then what happens with all of those things that you've collected and earned and worked your butt off? Like, once you're done with that game, like, you don't own those items, but the ownership cannot be just, we can't give it enough kudos or its importance to that whole process of whatever it is, contributing to the path forward, that part of the community, and actually like owning stuff. You can't take it away from me because I'm in the wrong place, or you want to, sell it to me 9 more times or in a different format or whatnot. So that is a critical aspect of it, at least right now.
Yeah, we spoke about like owning thing. I guess blockchain came up as the technology that is, okay, now we can own the thing really. And the next question is we're trying to answer like, oh, but what does it do? Like, okay, I own it. Well, like, to me, NFTs are digital items, just a direct calc from the offline. And you have a knife in offline, you can cut your bread or you can cut a person, not spreading violence. But like, what do you use NFT for? A lot of my thinking goes about coordination. So, like why blockchains are cool? Because they allow you to coordinate capital of a lot of people into achieving some goal. Like Bitcoin was there. It's a massive coordination around the globe. Different countries, everyone. And right now we've seen the NFTs as communities that being able to coordinate. There was this GameStop movement last year, how people on Reddit coordinated to like short squeeze a hedge fund. We've seen something like that with NFTs too, people coordinating to pump that shit out. Okay, that's a use case. What would be the more meaningful coordination? For collections, somebody's doing marketing, somebody's doing Twitter, somebody's doing Discord, somebody's developing, so that sort of coordination is going on. I don't know, what do you think about that? That's not like a finished thought, but some early thinking.
And I think, well, this is not what I'm thinking. This is what they said. So they're starting to considering how we can monetize the utility tokens, the utility NFTs toward the copyright. So think about, like, this is actually also connecting with the DeFi. So we can't get rid of financials, in whatever industries or in whatever sectors. So at the end of the day, we have to think about how we actually use the tokens to maximize the values. Not just the price go up and down, but why you have the token for your project. How you're going to reward not just the users, what about the content creators? Can they take a loan? Because at the beginning, the ideas, especially in music, we see the timelines from the fan and buying a piece of music, and when the content creators actually get paid, it was 9 months, and then it's like 5 or 6 agents in between. That was at the very beginning, the pinpoint for this whole copyright thing. They want to get rid of all of these. They want the content creators get paid faster. So that's where we have the tokens to starting to create utilities in these transactions. And for the younger content creators, they want to take a small loan because they probably don't have the team, they don't have the equipment, but they have the ideas, they have the talent. They need a place to go. So they starting to use the tokens to make a small loan. That's also part of the utilities. But when we have the creators, we have all of this done. This is already, we have been trying the NFT 1.0. And for 2.0s, we have the NFTs. And besides, we just like buy and sell. And we can also reward the fan clubs. And we can max the value behind just a collections. There's a lot of use case we can considering, or we can make it as like royalty clubs, and we can connecting the fans and content creators, and we can use this as a collaterals and starting to make as monetizing it, and we can do like a small APYs, not crazy. Anything above 20, I think is insane. It's not really sustainable, especially in down market. At like 10 or 10-ish, it's reasonable. It's a decent amount compared to you deposit money in the bank, right? So at the same time, and your fans can maybe they feels like their own piece of the copyright, but everybody also owns small piece of it, or we starting also can do like a rentings. I have like, if I bought something on Rareables, extremely expensive, and my friends wants it, I can't just give it, but they can rent it, or they can borrow it for a short period of time, or I can use this as a collaterals, and then they can buy some like smaller piece, things like that. So I mean, I believe all you guys here, besides plus me, we're all very confident about what we're trying to build. This is not a bubble. I think this is actually something that's coming up, but it takes times. We just need to be more patient, more cautious, also be humble, right?
Everyone's got to have a strategy for the bear market, and you'll only see if it worked or not like in 2 years from now. Is that a reminder for us?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Please.
I'm good.
Well, can we give all of them a hand, please? Thank you so much for being a part of our event. Thank you for
Thanks
coming
for
to
having
share
us.
with us.
Thanks
we
a
really
lot.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you
can
for
leave the
having us.
microphone.